Hello, guys, and welcome to yet another episode on the Afrocentrist podcast. And this segment, the Coaching Corner. I don't know why I'm even smiling this much. Why? Because I just really do appreciate what coaches do. And you've heard me say it over and over again. A lot of people think, what do they really do? Don't they just talk? But I mean, you've watched 2 or 3 episodes where I featured different coaches, and now you should know that they don't just talk for a living. And actually, they even do less of talking, more of listening, and more of questioning, right? So this segment is dedicated to coaches out there, just to showcase what they're doing and how they are helping to transform lives. And even in this dispensation, I believe that we need more coaches, or we need them to speak out about what they do some more so that people can really relate with how they can help them and they can reach out to get the help that they need. All right. Today on the show, I have a special guest. you know, um, Eddie Smith, who is currently in Nigeria. Actually, he's half Nigerian now. And I say he's my brother-in-law. Yes, I'm going to be having this conversation with Eddie Smith. This is what you need to know about Eddie Smith before we get into the conversation. Eddie Smith was actually a professional clown from 1993 to 2015. And in 2008, he got the opportunity to volunteer as a hospital clown. He visited more than 10,000 sick and palliative children. And between 1998 and 2008. His work as a clown required more than a pair of big shoes and a red nose. He needed to develop a strong kind of leadership, but most of all, he needed to learn to connect, which even as a clown was a challenge with the sick children. Today, he uses his experience over the years to help parents and leaders connect authentically. He is a licensed NLP practitioner and a certified management drives trainer. He also has a bachelor in pedagogy. And in 2015, he stopped performing as a clown. And since 2018, he's been coaching. And in 2019, he's now a TEDx speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, mommies and daddies, boys and girls, sit back, relax as I bring on stage my guest, Eddie Smith, and we're going to begin to explore what does he do as a coach now, helping people connect authentically. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with my guest. Hello, Eddie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Very good.
Awesome. Well, you can see that I'm all like smiley and everything. I just love it when I'm able to connect with people on different level, right? And just the fact that you are, speaking to me from my home country, I'm like, yay, I'm excited.
Yeah, that was a surprise, right?
By the way, before we get into the conversation, talking to you about coaching and how you help people connect authentically, how is Nigeria for you?
It's something else, right? Yeah, I've been in a lot of countries and traveled a lot, but I think Lagos is something out of the ordinary. It's very exciting. Lots of things are happening here. Of course, the situation of the country is not so good, I think, although I'm not into politics, but there's a lot of work to be done here.
Absolutely.
But at the other hand, you guys became independent in 1963, I think. So it's normal that your country is still evolving and you are searching. And yeah, well, I hope it does well and it grows well.
We're all hoping. We're all hoping. But I'm glad that you are able to find a home in Nigeria. And you're my brother-in-law. Got married to my sister. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for availing your time to be on the show today. Tell me a little bit about your story? I mean, I know you went to rebel on your parents when you were growing up, like, I want to be a clown. And you're like, hey, wait, what?
Mm.
Why clown? Why did you choose that?
Yeah, actually, I was like I was a teacher in that period, and what I found was so I was a teacher because I loved working with children. That was the main reason, actually. But then I was teaching, and I found that I couldn't express my creativity. The school system was too. There was some
Rigid.
kind of structure that I don't like, still don't like, and I couldn't get creative. And then yeah, I decided to make actually children's theater and go into to that direction. A clown was one of these things because I actually I started as a puppeteer. I used the puppets in my
Ooh.
classrooms. That's why that's a little bit the story how I started. But yeah, then I got I was always fascinated by clowning, and the early clowning like Charlie Chaplin and these kind of clowns, the Zera clowns. I was so fascinated by it. And I started to go into that and search people who were doing it, and actually, like you said, my parents really thought I was crazy because I gave up. In Belgium, a teacher's job is a really good job, steady job. You have a lot of holiday. The pay is actually not bad. And so that was the period that I saw, no, I want to do that. And yeah, I left
Just loved
everything
it.
I had and just did it,
Mm,
which was which was not so simple, and because I really didn't know how and what, and I had no experience at all in none of it. So I had to
mm,
learn everything, and that was a journey. And but it was a really cool journey. And during that period, I got the chance to actually become a hospital clown. I actually start up even a project as a hospital clown, and also
mm,
there we were with two persons. We started it up, and we didn't know anything about hospital clowning. But soon I was a clown already. I was a clown was 5 years clowning. But we soon find out that hospital clowning was a different kind of animal, and also there we had to learn everything. But the disadvantage is that it's slow if you have to learn anything.
mm,
But the advantage is that your fundamentals are so strong, and you build something that is up to date that I still use, and not only in my
mm.
coaching, also in my life, in everything. And that's what made me the person who I am today, is that period of hospital clowning, which was very, very, very exciting, and yeah, I learned a lot.
Fantastic. I love it. I mean, if I were to ask you, like, what is one thing that you like, what is the best moment for you when you were
Mm,
doing that, that actually made you say that is now useful for you in your practice as a coach? What was that? What's that
yeah.
one thing, if it's one thing? Yeah.
Well, it's not one thing, but let me tell you a quick story about. I did a lot of the last years. I did also a lot of palliative kids, and it was a girl, was 8 years old, and they gave her maximum a week. And when I came outside the room, the parents didn't allow me in the room. They had something like, "No, we, the whole family is here, and our child is about to die. We don't want to see a clown. It's no use." So there I had to use everything I had to get into that room, because I knew that I could make a difference. And I said, okay, it's
Mm,
not only for your child I'm coming in, also for you and your family. So I promise you, if you give me this chance, the child's life will end in another way, and your life will be different for good. It was a little bit of bragging, but I just wanted to get in the room. And when I came in, it was a little bit dark. They had closed the windows. All the family was there, and I swear you could hear a mouse walk through the room. It was that silent. And so I sat on the bed beside the child. Nothing was happening. Nothing. And I knew I had to do something, right? So I asked her. As I just asked her as a clown. So, do you know why everybody is so sad here in this room? And then she surprised me. She said, "No, I don't know." So I went further as a clown. I said, "Okay, so why don't you know? She said, well, my parents, they told me that when I die, I will sleep forever. And again, I went with her and I said, yeah, that's actually true. You'll sleep forever. And then she said these words, literally. She said, well, then I really don't know why everybody is so sad, because sleeping is the thing I love to do most.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was the point that, I still get goosebumps when I tell the story.
Mm,
And I also get a Christmas card each year from that family, up to date. And
wow.
that was the moment I had something, okay, this is so valuable what you do here. This is, you can't, as another person or another thing, you can't get this done. No chance. Because the whole the room, it changes. They open the windows. It was a different story after that. And that was also something that I decided, okay, if this is so strong, this clowning in hospitals, there must be something you can do with it out of the hospitals, with the attitude, with the way you approach people.
Mm,
And that's how my journey began, to explore that and doing more with
led
that
into
outside of the hospital.
coaching.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Just
Yeah.
asking the right question and changing the whole
Yeah.
perspective of the room, and just it just made a difference, right?
Yeah. And
Fantastic.
that's coaching, actually. That's what coaching
Exactly.
is. Yeah.
Exactly. So now how do you help people connect better?
Well, the first thing I learned them is that it's not about them. And that's also the first rule of hospital clowning. It's not about you. It's about the person you're talking to or you're living with. Or if you put that person in the center, then it becomes easy to connect, because then you are listening, and then you are not speaking and not performing. Then you are just listening to what this person has to say. That's number one. Actually, it's really not about you.
Mm, it's not about you. So give us another scenario. So you just
Mm.
explained a scenario when you were a clown. Can you give us another scenario as a coach now, and how you've helped? Maybe tell us a story of one person that you've, or a
Yeah.
situation where you've helped people connect better, and so that we can see some of the factors of the importance of what you do as a coach.
Yeah. Well, let me first tell a story about somebody who, the people I meet, they are stuck at some place, right? And the thing is that, and that's also why listening is so important. Why you have to put your effort in listening, is that everybody has a story, right? But with most people, this story is something they made up, and as they go along in their life, it becomes reality,
Hmm.
and they don't know where they made it up anymore. So it's a fact. So I met this woman, and she was like, she wanted to get out of her job, and she wanted to have a bigger function in her life. And she always had told her the story that she wasn't good enough to do that, right? And she didn't know where she got that, until we digged in a little bit deeper. And then suddenly the story came up that she had an argument with her sister, and her sister said, well, you are not good enough, blah blah blah. But that moment in her life, at some point, she started to believe it, that she was not good
Hmm.
enough. So the only thing I had to do was question her about that. Is it true that you're not good enough? And she told me stories that she had done things. I said, see, you did this, you did this, you did this. So you are good enough. And that was the only thing I needed to do to get her past that. And that's why, and that's the connection. That's connecting. Just asking the right questions is about listening what they are saying, but not the words. You don't listen to the words, and that's a little bit hard to explain. You look at the body language, and that's also what you do when you enter a hospital room. If a child says something to you, for example, what you hear a lot if you come into the hospital room is that a child says, I don't want to see you, right? Okay. Now, if you listen to the words, then you should just turn around and go out, right? But there is something in that body language that doesn't fit. They say, I don't want to see you, but the body says something totally different. And then you just need to explore that. And you explore that by, as a clown, by doing things, and as a coach, by asking things. And
Mm.
that's all you do. And in a hospital, the red nose is, there's something about a clown that is, a clown is a trustful person for a child. It knows a clown, it knows its laughter. So there's a kind of trust already. Of course, as a coach, you need to earn that trust with your coachee. That's the big
Mm.
difference. But the similarity is actually the same. You see the body language, you hear how people speak. Are they whispering? Are they, and all these things you learn to
Yeah.
pick up as a clown. So
Mm.
where other people have a little bit more time taking that all in, we see it immediately. We notice immediately, okay, that's going on. And yeah, that's the strong point, of course, in this clowning work, that you are trained, that you are trained to see that.
That's
But I
interesting.
must say, yeah, but it doesn't go 1, 2, 3. That's why I told you we started somewhere, and let's say the first years, we really didn't know what we were doing, and we made
Mm.
failed a lot, and a lot of children that we didn't connect with, but we
Mm.
learned through our mistakes. And at some point, we became so good at it that in the first seconds that we saw a child, we knew what to
You
do.
are connected.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 That's interesting. So, do you still dress like a clown once in a while now to attend to any of your
Uh,
coaching clients?
no, no. But I did do my TED talk, and I started as a clown. I said, okay, I need to show the audience where it comes from, and I can only do that to just come in as a clown and do like 1 or 2 minutes, just act also as a clown before I'm on stage. And then I went on the stage and did my TED talk, and then everybody knew exactly the difference. That the moment I took off the red nose, I was Eddie, and the clown was gone. And that was an important thing, an important statement to make. That for me, it was something like, okay, there's also a serious clown. There's also a serious side at this clown, and there's some thinking going on here, and that was fun to do,
Absolutely.
actually. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can just imagine. I can imagine. Now that you are just coaching people, I know you focus on parents and
Lately,
kids,
yes.
right? Yes. What is one thing that you've noticed in your years of doing that that
Mhm.
causes that initial disconnect between a parent and a child?
Yeah. Biggest thing, and it's a simple. I use it all the time. The biggest thing is there that we, and I say we, because I'm a parent too. We assume that we know what's best for our child,
Hmm.
but that's not the case. And as soon as we can get that out of our head, and say, okay, I don't always know what's best for my child. I don't know, because I don't know what the future will bring. So how can I know? And as soon as we admit that, as soon as we are honest about that, the relation with our child will change. We just need to be honest about that. And I'm a little bit older than you. I know that the first phone that came in my house, I was 12 years old, and it was the kind of phone with the heavy thing, and with the cable, and with the dial. You need to dial your number. When you missed one, you had to
You have
dial
to go
over
back.
again. That kind of phone, right? And that was the kind of phone we had. And if you see the phones we are using now, I saw that phone too when I was that old, but I saw it in Star Trek. That was science fiction then. So
Hmm.
so we
Wow.
don't know. Yeah, we don't know what's happening. And now we are educating our children because we think we need to do this with our children because they need this. We don't know. Maybe we know it in the next 5 years, yeah, but not in the next 30, and that's or 20, and that's where we are preparing our children for. So the moment
Hmm.
we get rid of that idea, things start to change, and we start to change. Okay, why are we acting like this? I mean, and it's in stupid things, very stupid things, where parents have these thoughts that they should teach their children. And when I question them, then there's two possible answers. First answer is, yeah, my parents told me that way, And I swore I will do it another way because that wasn't right. Yeah, or they say, yeah, my parents told it. That's the only two things they have. And then when you ask, okay, and how do you know now that I was right? Then they have to admit, yeah, we don't. It was just something our parents did. We picked it up. So you have to just let them reflect on what they are doing. And that's a good thing the moment that they start thinking about, because I believe there are no bad parents. There are no bad parents. I think every parent love their child. That's an unconditional love you have for a child. I mean, maybe there are exceptions, but okay, we're not going into that. But in a normal situation, yes, you love
Yes.
your child. You wish the best
Yes.
for your child,
Mm.
and that's where I start with these parents. They don't do it because they don't love their child. They think that what they are doing is best
It's
for
the
their child.
best. Mm.
And then when you start reflecting with them and go in conversations and say, okay, try this for a change. And the thing is that at some point, and that's also what a clown does, a child goes like, okay, now something else is happening. What's going on? They used to shout at me when I didn't clean my room, and now
You're
they
just
don't
talking.
shout. They do something else. What's going on? That's the connection.
Wow. So as a coach right now, when you work with your clients, do you work with both the parent and the child uh together or separately, as in simultaneously, basically, like you kind of question the parent and then you question the child just to find out what the disconnect is, or you focus only on the parent?
Well, the thing is, I love to work with children, right, and help them. But the problem is that if you work with children, and that's okay, and they come back home, then they hit a wall because the parents didn't hear your conversation and so on. So that's why I'm focusing on the parents, because I strongly believe you have to educate the parents and not the child. There's
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with the child. The problem is always with the parent. They come to me because they have a problem with their child, and they leave knowing that the problem is with them. And as soon as they fix that, the child is okay. So yeah.
Wow. I love it. I feel like your job as a coach must be exciting, watching parents come to you with, this frustration, like, oh, my child this, my child that, and leaving that experience and saying, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm the problem and we can
Yeah.
fix it, right? And there's that connection with family. And like we all know that the family unit is very precious in our society,
Mhm.
because when we get it right from that point, it just has that domino effect into
Yeah.
the society. So this is
Yeah.
why it is important what you do as a coach, letting parents and children connect. Before we
Mhm.
round this up, is what is the what's have you ever, had any coaching experience that felt like this one is impossible? There's nothing. It has gotten to a point of no return. Nothing can be done to amend the past. Like, it's just like that. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
About to amend the past, well, you can't amend the past. That for once, you can't change the past. So I never dig in the past because, yeah, sometimes I need to, but then I immediately go back because you can't change anything. The thing where when it goes wrong is that you explain that to parents and you show them things and they do things and they don't change. They are still like, no, I'm right here. I know what's good for my child. It has to go to college. It has to teach for a doctor or a lawyer, that kind of mentality. And yeah, my mentality is very hard to change, and
Mm,
some parents just don't see it. But hey, that's okay. I mean, everyone has the right to educate their child like they want to,
mm.
and what can you do?
Yeah.
And also the thing is, parents mostly come too late. They come when the situation is so out of hand, and then it becomes really hard because then you have to tell them, okay, this is not a fix in 2 weeks, this is a fix in maybe 2 years, and you need
Mm,
to be prepared to do this 2 years,
the
because
work.
you've lost the connection with your child, and before this child will trust you again, that's not a work of 3 days. That will take a little bit
Absolutely.
longer, and you will make mistakes
Absolutely.
too along the
Mm,
way, and still you need to establish that trust again.
mm.
So, and that's also something I have from hospital clowning. The moment as a clown you lose the trust with your child, it's over. You can just as well walk out of the room. You can't get it. It's very, very difficult to
It's
get it
very.
back. You can, but it
Mm.
takes you a lot of time. I did it a few times, but then it takes you half an hour, even longer,
Just,
just to come back into the room. Actually, just to
wow.
be, yeah, yeah. And
So,
that's
so
the same with parents.
with parents. So, riding on that as we round up is what position, like what posture would you tell parents now? What advice would you give to parents
Mhm,
to, they say prevention is better than cure, right?
mhm.
Rather than wait, what would you say they should do, or what posture should they assume at an early
Yes.
stage to not break the connection or to have a good connection with their kids?
I will tell you the $1 million tip, and you can send a check to me. So the the $1 million tip is very simple. You need to play with your child. That's all.
Wow.
Start playing. If you don't play with your child, start playing with it. And if you're a man who is like 200 pounds and the child is a girl that wants to play with Barbie dolls, play with Barbie dolls. That's all you need to do.
Hmm. Wow, I love it. And that's the funny thing about simple things.
Yeah.
They are the hardest to do, like play. I'm too busy to play. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, well.
well, you wait for the
Mhm.
repercussion.
Yeah, yeah. So wait a few years, and then they don't ask you anymore to play. Then it's over. It's game over.
Wow, I love it. Thank you so much, Eddie Smith. Like, you are super great at what you do. You're so easy to talk to. I think the clown thing really, really, it's a gift. It's a
Mhm.
skill that you have worked with over the years, and it's beautiful. I wish that would have such opportunities to even have that as an option to say, you know what, I want to be a clown, because now it's beyond just the funny face and the red nose, and it's really actually psychological, and that's a lot of work to do. But thank you so much for spending your time with us today, guys. I hope you've learned one or two things. I have. If you take nothing away from here today, remember, play with your child as a parent so that you do not lose your connection with them. Until I come your way again with another coach telling us how they, impact their world, how they transform lives. This is the energetic EJ, and this is the Coaching Corner. All right, guys, I am going to leave the link to Eddie's website, such a beautiful and simple website where you are able to see all of his expression and how you are able to connect with him, to work with him if you wanted to. Okay, the link of that website will be left in the description of this video as well as of the audio of this podcast. All right, till I come your way again next time. Take care and have a fantastic weekend. Bye bye.